Have you ever felt like life just picked you up and threw you off a cliff? Like everything you thought was solid just crumbled beneath your feet? Maybe it was a relationship you thought would last forever. Maybe it was a job you gave everything to. Maybe it was a dream you built your whole world around, and suddenly it's gone. Just like that. And you're sitting there in the wreckage asking yourself why. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Here's what I need you to understand right now. What if I told you that nothing in your life happens by accident? What if every single painful moment, every loss, every betrayal, every crushing disappointment was actually designed to wake you up? I know that sounds impossible when you're in the middle of the pain, but stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you might completely change how you see every struggle you've ever been through. Buddhism teaches us something that most people never realize. There is no such thing as randomness in this universe. Every single thing that happens to you, every person who walks into your life, every door that slams shut in your face, it's all connected to a bigger picture, a picture you can't see yet, but it's there, and it's working for you, not against you. So if you've ever whispered to yourself in the dark, "Why does life keep hurting me?" I need you to stick with me until the very end of this message. Because by the time we're done, you're going to see your pain through completely different eyes. You're going to understand that every breakdown was actually a breakthrough in disguise, and you're going to learn how to stop fighting life and start flowing with it. So take a deep breath, quiet your mind for just a few minutes, and let's walk this path together. Let's start with something nobody wants to talk about but everyone experiences: pain, loss, heartbreak, failure. These aren't just random bad luck, they're not punishments from the universe, and they're definitely not signs that you're doing something wrong. Pain is actually life's most powerful teacher. I know that's hard to hear when you're hurting, but think about it for a second. When was the last time you grew as a person during a time when everything was easy, when everything was comfortable and predictable and safe? Probably never, right? Because comfort doesn't push us to evolve. Comfort lets us stay small. It's pain that forces us to expand. It's crisis that cracks us open so something new can emerge. There's a reason Buddhism talks so much about suffering. It's not because Buddhists are pessimistic or depressed. It's because they understand something most people miss. Suffering isn't the problem. Resisting suffering is the problem. Clinging to what's already gone, refusing to accept what is, fighting reality with every ounce of energy you have. That's what turns pain into torture. But when you stop resisting, when you stop asking life to be different and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" everything shifts. Pain stops being your enemy and becomes your guide. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who lost everything. His business failed. His partner left him. His friends disappeared. He felt completely abandoned by life. He went to a Buddhist monk and said, "Why is the universe punishing me? What did I do wrong?" The monk didn't answer. Instead, he handed the man a glass of water and a handful of salt. He told him to pour the salt into the glass and drink it. The man did, and immediately he spit it out. It was bitter and disgusting. Then the monk took him to a huge lake. He told him to throw the same handful of salt into the lake. Then he said, "Now drink from the lake." The man did. This time, the water tasted pure and refreshing. The monk smiled and said, "The amount of salt didn't change. What changed was the size of the container. Your pain is the same, but if you make your heart small, if you focus only on what hurts, the bitterness will consume you. But if you expand your awareness, if you see your life as vast and full of possibility, the pain becomes just a small part of a much bigger picture." Drop a comment right now and tell me what time it is, where you are, and what part of the world you're watching from. I want to know who's on this journey with me today. That story isn't just beautiful, it's the key to everything. Most of us go through life with a tiny glass of water. We focus only on our problems. We replay our mistakes. We obsess over what we lost. And because our focus is so narrow, the pain feels unbearable. But the moment you step back and see the bigger picture, everything changes. You realize that this painful chapter is just one page in a much longer story. And that story isn't over yet, not even close. Now let's talk about something even deeper: chaos. Most people think chaos is bad. They think life is supposed to be calm, predictable, and under control. And when things fall apart, they panic. They think something's gone terribly wrong. But Buddhism teaches the opposite. Chaos is not a sign that you're off track. Chaos is often the universe rearranging things so you can get on the right track. Think about it like this. Imagine you're building a house, and halfway through, you realize the foundation is cracked. If you keep building on that broken foundation, the whole house will eventually collapse. So, what do? You tear it down, you start over, and yes, that's painful, it's frustrating, it feels like you're going backward, but you're not. You're actually saving yourself from a much bigger disaster down the road. That's what chaos does in your life. It tears down what isn't working so something stronger can be built in its place. The job you lost? Maybe it was draining your soul and you were too afraid to quit. The relationship that ended. Maybe it was keeping you small and you didn't have the courage to walk away. The plan that fell apart. Maybe it was never aligned with who you're meant to become. Life isn't punishing you. Life is protecting you, redirecting you, preparing you for something better. But you can't see that when you're in the middle of the storm. All you see is the wind and the rain and the destruction. But after the storm passes, new growth begins. And that's when you realize the storm wasn't the end. It was the beginning. There's a beautiful image in Buddhism, the lotus flower. It's one of the most sacred symbols. And you know where the lotus grows? In mud. Thick, dark, dirty mud. It doesn't grow in clean water. It doesn't grow in perfect conditions. It grows in the mess. And it uses that mess as fuel to rise above the surface and bloom into something breathtaking. You are that lotus. And right now, you might feel like you're drowning in mud. But that mud is what's going to make you beautiful. That struggle is what's going to make you strong. Don't waste your pain. Let it transform you. Here's another truth most people never think about. You're not actually in control of your life. I know that's a tough pill to swallow. We're taught from a young age that if we just work hard enough, plan carefully enough, and do everything right, life will go the way we want. But that's a lie. Life has never worked that way. You can do everything perfectly and still lose. You can make all the right choices and still get hurt. You can be kind, honest, and loyal and still get betrayed. And when that happens, we feel cheated. We feel angry. We shake our fists at the sky and demand to know why. But Buddhism teaches something radical. Let go of control. Stop trying to force life to bend to your will, because the tighter you grip, the more you suffer. There's a concept in Buddhism called dharma. It means the natural order of things, the way life flows when you stop interfering. Trees don't struggle to grow, rivers don't stress about finding the ocean, flowers don't panic when winter comes. They trust the process, they surrender to the rhythm of life. And because of that, they're never truly lost. You are part of that same rhythm. You are part of the same intelligence that makes the sun rise and the seasons change. But your mind keeps getting in the way. Your ego keeps trying to control everything. And that's why you're exhausted. That's why you're anxious. That's why nothing feels right. What if you just stopped? What if you took a breath and said, okay, life, I don't understand this. I don't like this. But I'm going to trust that you know what you're doing. That's not giving up. That's waking up. That's the beginning of real freedom. Because when you stop resisting what is, you stop suffering. You start flowing. And life starts working with you instead of against you. Let me share another story with you. There was a man caught in a terrible storm at sea. The waves were massive. The wind was brutal. And he was sure he was going to drown. So he fought. He kicked and screamed and thrashed against the water with everything he had. But the harder he fought, the more he sank. Finally, exhausted and defeated, he stopped fighting. He let go. And the moment he surrendered, the current gently carried him back to shore. That's the power of surrender. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that some things are beyond your control. And that's okay, because life has a plan. And that plan is bigger and better than anything your limited mind could come up with. So when things fall apart in your life, don't immediately assume something's wrong. Ask yourself, what is falling away that no longer serves me? What is this making space for? What am I being prepared for? Because I promise you, nothing is wasted. Every tear you've cried has watered the soil of your growth. Every mistake you've made has taught you something valuable. Every person who walked away has made room for someone better, and every door that closed has pushed you toward the one that was meant to open. Your life is not falling apart, it's falling into place, but you can't see that yet because you're still in the middle of it. You're still in the storm, but the storm will pass. It always does, and when it does, you're going to look back and realize that the hardest moments of your life were also the most important. They were the ones that shaped you, the ones that woke you up, the ones that made you who you were always meant to be. Buddhism teaches that enlightenment isn't some far-off mystical experience reserved for monks on mountaintops. Enlightenment is simply waking up to the truth of life. And that truth is this: you are not separate from life, you are life. Every breath you take is the universe breathing. Every choice you make is the universe expressing itself through you. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a participant in a grand unfolding. And the more you align with that truth, the more peace you will feel, even in the chaos, even in the pain, even in the uncertainty. So right now, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, I want you to take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. That's life moving through you. You are alive. You are here. And that means you still have purpose. Your story isn't over. This chapter might be painful, but it's not the end. It's just a turning point. A moment of transformation, a chance to become someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than you were before. Stop waiting for life to get easier. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to save you. You are the one you've been waiting for. You have everything you need inside you right now. The strength, the wisdom, the courage. It's all already there. You just have to stop doubting it, stop hiding from it, and start trusting it. Life is not your enemy. Pain is not your punishment. And chaos is not a sign that you're lost. They are all teachers. They are all guides, leading you back to yourself, back to your truth, back to your power. So if this message resonated with you, if something inside you shifted even just a little bit, I want you to do something. Don't just let this moment pass. Take action. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling me what you're going through and what you're learning. Let's build a community of people who are waking up together. And if you're serious about walking this path, if you want more wisdom, more peace, more clarity in your life, then hit that like button and subscribe to Buddhism Focus, because we're going to keep going deeper. We're going to keep exploring the teachings that have the power to transform your life from the inside out. Not just feel-good quotes, but real tools, real practices, real truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for having the courage to keep going even when life gets hard. You are not alone, and you are exactly where you need to be.